I have to get a printer. Now, despite the fact that all of my classes are online this semester and I'm not even going on campus, or nothing for my production company really needs to be done on paper, I have a lot of reading to do, and this reading is other people's short stories. It's for my capstone, my thesis basically. We all have to write these long, as an English major, these long kind of pieces of fiction. And I guess I could just read them on my, whatever you call it, my computer, but it's just, I already stare at my computer all day, and so I have to do that for another 3 hours, because it's probably gonna take a long time for me to read, is not something I look forward to doing. So I'm going to go down to the printer in our apartment, which is, it's really nice, because I have refused to buy a printer for the last 30 years, and so part of our really expensive rent goes to upkeeping a printer. So I'm gonna use that. But sometimes it doesn't work, so hopefully this works, because if not, that's really gonna suck. So I went to log in to my email address so I could print off the things I needed to print, and I realized that I still have two-factor identification on my Butler email. Butler made this huge deal about it because people kept getting phished because all the professors are older and don't really know how email works, and I get it. So they did two-factor identification to kind of stop that a bit, which is perfectly fine, but the problem is my two-factor identification isn't on my phone. It's on my old phone. I don't carry that phone around anymore. I used to use it as a vlog phone, but since I got this GoPro and everything else, I don't really use it. But the thing is, because I set two-factor identification on that phone, it won't transfer to a different phone. So now I have to go back upstairs and get that phone and then come back downstairs and enter that code and do that whole thing in hopes that it works. And if it doesn't work, well, then this will have been a giant waste of time. So here's hoping this isn't just a giant waste of time. So of course, I come in here, I find my phone, and I turn it on, and I realize it's out of battery, which sucks, because I don't exactly have a lot of time today, because these stories I've been talking about, they have to be read by 6 o'clock tonight, and there's about 50 pages, and I'm a super slow reader, and especially when I'm, reading other people's work, I want to, mark it up and note it and do all these things, so it's really pushing things back, especially because I have class in like 15 minutes, which isn't, it's definitely not optimal, but it is what's happening. So now I'm just gonna sit here and twiddle my thumbs and hope for the best. So I sat around waiting for my phone to charge, and it finally did, but it took like way too long. I mean, it took well over 15 minutes, and now I'm only a couple of minutes until class. I'm kind of rushing downstairs, even though I could definitely just do this after class. I don't know why I've decided that I should do it now. If I just wait till after class, this will be significantly easier, but maybe the deadline's a good thing. So of course, when I log into my Gmail account, it's not there. I think, okay, well, I sent it from my Yahoo account. I'll go to that, I'll log in there, I'll download it from there, and it'll work out. Log into my Yahoo account, download all the files, it's good. I'm like, awesome, now all I have to do is hit print. I have a couple of minutes left, I can definitely do this. I turn on the printer, no toner. So all this work, all the stress, all the last 30 minutes I have wasted trying to print these papers is all for naught. I still haven't done any of my reading, which needs to be done in 5 hours, and considering how long it takes me to read, that's not great, nor is it great that I have class from 4 to 5:30, which brings me back even more, so it's not in the best place. Maybe I should have taken note when I couldn't print my paper. That was probably some sort of a sign from the world, the universe. Hopefully I can still get done. I do have class at 4, and I do still have to record the podcast for today. This is entirely my own fault. I've pushed this stuff off, and I definitely should have done it earlier, but here I am, and now I have to face those consequences, and that is That does not look pretty. The time is slowly dwindling away, so it's not great, and it's not looking. The odds are not in my favor at this moment. So hopefully, who knows what will happen? But Sophia's coming over, and that's exciting, even if the circumstances are a bit strained. So I'll be happy to see her, because it always makes things better, even if that does mean that getting this work done will be just that much harder. I, as you can see, still haven't made the bed, and I probably should. But on the upside, I did read almost all of the things I needed to read. And to be honest, I wouldn't have finished, but I kind of lucked out because one of my classes, ended up being canceled. Well, not necessarily canceled, but canceled for me specifically because there just wasn't enough high school kids to kind of tutor, so my services were not needed, which I guess, again, it's just one of those things where sometimes things just work out, and this was an instant where everything kind of worked out. I mean, I'm going to be literally down to the last minute reading for class, but I did do it, so there's that. So, yeah, I guess in the end, it all worked out. And, I guess I should probably make the bed, but otherwise, yeah, pretty good. So apparently, you can hear that my upstairs neighbor did not move out. I saw the moving van. I heard rolling upstairs. There was silence yesterday. I thought the person I saw in the moving van was him, but it sure doesn't sound like him unless he came back to play his drums, or maybe he was just moving some of his stuff out so he could have more room for his drums. Look, I'm not gonna complain, because that's just not who we are. We're not conflicting. We don't like conflict, Emily or I. But it's just, this is my office. This is where I work. This is where I do my schoolwork. This is where I record my podcast. This is where I shoot my vlog. And it's just like, why? Why does our upstairs neighbor have to be a professional drummer? Why can't he have been someone who has an office or, a nice, quiet job? Why is this my life? I'm happy with it, and it makes for a great story, and I'm not complaining. It's just, like Bartleby, I'd prefer not. Despite the fact I make this vlog every single day, despite the fact I make a podcast every single day, despite the fact I've written dozens and dozens of screenplays and short stories and all that, there's something so raw about the experience of other people reading your work and discussing it in front of you. And while I've done it in person many times, this is kind of the first time on Zoom that I've had this experience. So I'm nervous, because it's like, imagine if you just lay your soul out on paper, and not even a good soul, because I don't have the time to work on it that I want to work on it, and then people just rip your soul apart. So it's not the most fun thing in the world, and I'm not super excited for it, but it is helpful. And honestly, of all my classes, it's probably one of the classes that actually do matters. Partly because you literally have to take this class to graduate. It's like your thesis or whatever. But also just because, you learn how to tell stories better. And what is this vlog? What is the podcast? What is my production company? But storytelling. So it's a good thing I have it, and I'm glad that we're doing workshops. It's just, I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't at least just a little bit nervous.